Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Maulisha Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Prabhu. So we hand our session to Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Prabhu, you are there?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Maulisha Prabhupada.
I share my humble obeisances, all glory to Prabhupada. Thank you for coming online.
Thank you so much for allowing us to have your association, Prabhu.
So, anybody has?
So
any
actually, those who have
questions?
any question, you can raise here. I think from next week onwards. So we are planning like you can send me the question in the week itself. So we can choose the question and that question will be put on the session. So whatever question you can send it to me, and we will be posting it with your name of course. When the session goes on, then enter the question, because some questions sometimes seems to be irrelevant. So that is why we have Prabhu's time should not be wasted. We thought like that. So now, whoever has any question, you can put forward now. Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Nobody has questions, huh?
We're just trying to recall because I had a few questions. Prabhu, yes, Prabhu, I have a question. Yeah, I recall. I just remembered. Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, especially from verse number 21, if I am correct. Yeah, verse number 21. The Lord says that among this I am this, and among militants I am Kartikeya, among mountains I'm Himalayas, and like that. So actually, Prabhu, could you like in that, Prabhu, those few verses, like people would do is they would tend to misunderstand that if he's saying among militants I am Kartikeya, among mountains I'm Himalayas, if like that, so people don't misunderstand that everything is Krishna, everything is equal to Krishna only, and Kartikeya is equal to Krishna only, so they might have that misunderstanding. So can they elaborate on this topic, Prabhu?
So, anybody want to say anything on this? Let's hear from you, from everyone. So in other words, he's saying that Krishna says, I'm Kartikeya, so therefore Kartikeya is Krishna. Correct? What do you say? Can everyone put some input to this? Hello?
Yes, Prabhu. So actually, this that is explained in the last sloka of 10th chapter. That is 1041. No? So Krishna is talking about energy. In 1041, Krishna says that know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from Pada. So here Krishna talks about how he is inside everything in the form of energy. All glorious is himself. The power comes from him. That exactly. That's the power is Krishna's power.
What else have you got to say? Anybody else?
I think 16 is very simple. He is saying that, tell me in detail divine thing. He's not asking about his avatar something. The question is how he is pervading in the whole universe. So Krishna is saying pervade everywhere. So
Anybody
that's the
else?
question as we
So does it
for the
mean? I
answer.
mean, these are all like Krishna's opulence, like display of Krishna's opulence. Is it?
Krishna says, among the fishes I'm shark. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
So why don't you put a picture of the shark and worship also?
Prabhu, we can't do that.
Huh? Why only Subramaniam, Kartikeya? Your shark is also there, no? You put is it not?
Yes, absolutely.
So Krishna is speaking about his powers infested on the certain individual. Like among the fishes, the most fearful fish is the shark. That symbolizes Krishna's opulence. And why Kartikeya? Because he's the commander in chief, he's a fierce fighter. That represents Krishna's energy. You
Yes,
understand?
Prabhu.
Huh? You know, Krishna has many energies, no? I think it is in where? I think the Bhagavad Gita. Parasya Sakti Vividaive Suryate. Where that was? I think it in the Gita.
Natat samas chadyabhishkrishte.
Yeah, I think it is 30. Or Gita, third chapter, I think. Parasya Sakti Vividaive Suryate. See, Parasya Sakti.
Prabhu, it has mentioned in 322 purport.
Huh?
To purport.
Yeah, 322, huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, here. And as soon as you can see, na tasya karanam karyam cha vidyate, na tat samascha abhyadikascha drishyate. Parasya Shakti Vividaive Suryate Swabhaviki Jnanam Bala Kriyacha. Translation.
Ready, Prabhu?
This was, yeah.
He does not possess a bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. He is absolute. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any others. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, thus his deeds have performed as a natural sequence. Shvetashvatara Upanishad.
So,
Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimatti.
so he has got Jnana, this Sakti, Jnana Bala Kriyacha. Swabhaviki, Jnana Bala, and you need knowledge, you need strength, you need activities. All these energies, multifarious energies. So he manifests these energies on certain individuals. So it doesn't mean that, of course, it doesn't mean that when he say among the radiant I am the sun, it doesn't mean that the sun is equal to Krishna. It's not the other way around. Krishna, yes, by his power the sun is manifested. But that doesn't mean that the sun is Krishna. That is not correct. Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu.
So we have to understand this properly. Krishna's manifested energies. Just like he says, I am the ability in man. So man has got some ability. How does it come about?
Comes from
Huh?
Krishna.
Because he manifests himself as a super soul, you know. It says here, can see this verse, can you read?
Yes, Prabhu. The super soul enters the material bodies of humans, and thus causes the conditioned souls to approach the three modes of.
So when the Lord enters into the body of all living entities, then the body can function. You understand? So Krishna says, Krishna says here, Upadrista Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. He says here, yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor who exists as the overseer and permitter and is known as the super soul. So the super soul enters in the body, and because he is inside the body, he is the witness and he is also the permitter. Why the Lord is in the body of the shark and the body of also the what it says among the thing I'm lion, but the lion cannot function in the water, neither can the shark function in the land.
Yes.
Two different animals,
Yes,
correct?
Prabhu.
Yes. So the ability of functioning in each capacity, that is overseen and permitted by the Lord.
Oh. Basically,
You
so basically,
follow?
the Lord manifests as the energy of the being.
Yes. No, he says very clearly here, that he puts the living entity in a yantra, So here the living entity is placed in the body. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridayasya arjuna tishtati. Brahmanya sarva bhutani yantra arudani mayaya. This they are placed in a machine. Correct?
Prabhu.
You understand? So the living entity, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, who Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. You follow?
Yes, Prabhu.
So in other words, the living entity is empowered in certain bodies and is wandering is sitting in that body. Suppose the soul is sits in the body of a lion, he acts in the body of a lion. If the soul is put in the body of a demigod, then he acts in the body of a demigod. The soul is forced to act. It is not that because the soul is in the body of Kartikeya, so he becomes what? Krishna. No.
Yes.
He is taking up the position because he is empowered to act in that capacity. Permitter. The Lord permits. You understand? So everybody is under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Cannot work independently. That's not possible.
So even the materialistic people, their propensities are boosted by the super soul, is it?
Yes. The Lord is saying, I am seated in the heart of everybody. There are two birds sitting in the body, correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or
Two
not?
birds.
Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 22, is it? 222, 222, two birds sitting in that one tree, Here you can see so here in this verse, you can see here in this verse, all the two birds are in the same tree. The eating bird is fully engrossed with the anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend who is the Lord and known as his glory, at once the suffering bird comes free from all anxieties. So there are two birds. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
So the other one is enjoying the fruits of that. The other one is enjoying
Fruits
the,
of the tree.
yes?
Yes, Prabhu. So that is the self, the soul.
What?
The enjoyer of the fruits of the tree is the soul, is it?
Yeah. The one who is trying to eat the fruit, that is the soul. Understand? Sometimes the example is given, sometimes given as a swan, but actually the two birds.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes? I think it is 11:9. No, maybe 11:11. Give me a minute, I just find this verse, Yeah. See here. So here you see, you want to read this?
Yes, Prabhu. By chance, birds have made a nest together in the same tree. The two birds are friends and are of similar nature. One of them, however, is eating the fruits of the tree, whereas the other, who does not eat the fruits, is in a superior position due to his potency.
So one is the soul and the other one is the super soul.
Yes.
Can you read that?
Yes, Prabhu. The bird who does not eat the fruits of the tree is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who by his omniscience perfectly understands his own position and that of the conditioned living entity represented by the eating bird. That living entity, on the other hand, does not understand himself the Lord. He is covered by ignorance and is called eternally conditioned, whereas the personality of Godhead, being full of perfect knowledge, is eternally liberated.
So
Yes,
this is the position of the soul and the super soul.
Super Soul.
Understand?
Yes,
When
Prabhu.
the soul is caught by Maya, she is forced to act helplessly. Understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Says here in the Bhagavad Gita, he is not in any way, is not, they say here, please
Yes,
read.
Prabhu. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
So everyone is trapped, you know. Understand? If you are trapped, then how you can be equal to the Lord who is, the controller?
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
understand? It doesn't mean that because he's saying that among the commanders I'm Kartikeya, doesn't mean that Kartikeya is equal to Krishna, you know. Kartikeya is a position, just like the body of a shark is a position. You understand? The soul in the body of a shark can change. The soul in the body of Kartikeya. You understand?
Yes.
But there always will be a shark and there always will be a Kartikeya,
Yes.
or the sun, or the moon for the matter. But the soul that is occupying that position will change. You can also become a moon, or you can also become a sun god, whatever you can do. You can also take birth as a shark. That also can happen according to your association with the modes of material nature. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
It says here,
Yes.
Purusha praktisto bhunjate prakriti jan guna karanam gunasangosya sadasat yoni janmasu. Please read.
Yes, Prabhu. The living entity in material nature phase of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species.
So accordingly, it takes birth.
Ah,
Very clear.
yes, Prabhu. Based on propensities, they get bodies. So suppose
Hmm?
if someone has meat-eating propensity, they get a carnivore body. See?
Yes. According to their desire and association with the modes. Huh? Says, can you read this?
Yes, Prabhu. Made to wander because of his fruitive work, The conditioned soul, by contact with the mode of goodness, takes birth among the sages or demigods. By contact with the mode of passion, he becomes a demon or human being. And by association with the modes of ignorance, he takes birth as a ghost or in the animal kingdom.
Accordingly,
Yes, Prabhu.
you understand? Ah.
Shall I read this, Prabhu?
Yes.
Ha. Covered by the mode of ignorance and material nature, the living entity is sometimes a male, sometimes a female, sometimes a eunuch, sometimes a human being, sometimes a demigod, sometimes a bird, an animal, and so on. In this way, he is wandering within the material world. His acceptance of different types of bodies is brought about by his activity under the influence of the modes of nature. Hmm.
So he is not free,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Kept some ration here.
Huh?
Ration.
Right.
Some things are here. Please later take care. My car is at the road.
You can ask someone to help you upstairs. Or you already put here ready.
I'll put ready.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So therefore, the living entity is stuck,
Yes, Prabhu.
You follow? It's stuck. You cannot get out. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, no? Devi Ashagunamaya Mama Maya Turatyaya Mameva E Prapadyante Maya Metantate. You want to read
Yes,
that?
Prabhu. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, those who have surrendered.
Hello?
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you read
Yes,
again?
Prabhu. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it.
So you see, this is how it works. You cannot escape this Maya of Krishna,
Yes.
Only by surrendering only, yeah, you can come out. Otherwise, there's no way you can escape this. Huh? Understand? And how he gets into this situation? How he gets into this situation? He gets into this problem of this material world basically because of this. This is what happens.
When a living entity, thinking himself different from me, forgets.
Can you ask someone else to read? There's so many of them here.
Yes, Prabhu.
Nobody
Okay.
want to read? 15 of you here. Can anyone else try to read out? More participation?
If I can read,
Hello?
Prabhu.
Yeah, please read, no?
Yeah. When a living entity thinking himself different from me forgets his spiritual identity of qualitative oneness with me in eternity, knowledge and bliss, his material conditional life begins. In other words, instead of identifying his interest with mine, he becomes interested in his bodily expansions like his wife, children, and material possessions. In this way, by the influence of his actions, one body comes from another, and after one death, another death takes place.
See, this is how you get trapped. Huh? You follow?
It's true.
It's explained also here in the purport. There's a very famous verse that Prabhupada quotes all the time. Krishna Bairmukha Hanancha Kare Nikatasta Maya Tare Japadiya Dare. The moment he turns away from Krishna, he senses he is trapped by Maya, who is standing nearby. And in this way, she completely slaps him down. So we have to understand this is how we are all trapped here in the material world. The moment we identify with the body, that's the start of all our miseries. So when Krishna says you are the sun or you are the moon or you are demigod or you are shark or whatever, it is all based on the body. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Different dress. We need to come back to our original form, spirit, soul. Once you get to understand that your soul, then yes, if you understand that your soul, please read.
But anyone who is specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender unto the service of the Lord, can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the end by dogs and jackals, cannot do so.
So if you are in the bodily condition and interested in enjoying the senses, then you cannot understand nothing.
Yes, Prabhu.
That's why all these guys, they are struggling so hard. Because they don't know Krishna. That's the problem. Yes.
Yes.
That's the problem. Nate viduhu swartha gatim he Vishnu. They don't know. The ultimate goal of life is to surrender to Vishnu. Durasha he bhairartha manina. Andayatanda upanyamana te pisitantriyam uradami badaha. Please read.
Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as the leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached men led by another materially attached man are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries.
So you see how they're stuck, no? Because they don't know. They don't know.
Blind man leading a
Their
blind
real
man.
goal is Vishnu. Ate vidua swartha gatim Vishnu. They do not know their swartha, their Purpose of life is to surrender to Vishnu.
Yes,
They are
Prabhu.
going in this way, suffering, suffering and suffering and suffering.
Yes.
So what is the use of being a Brahma? Or what is the use of being an Indra or a Chandra? What is the use?
Yes.
It's only suffering only. Because it says in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, place of suffering. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all the misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains Maya abode, never takes birth again. So this whole thing is miserable. What is the use? Changing dress.
Yes, Prabhu. Over and over again.
Yeah, it's a fool. Only a fool will do that. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for answering this question, Prabhu. Overall, overview of the question, the answer, a complete overview. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Understood, huh?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Why
Thank you so
you
much.
become a fool?
Absolutely.
If you are a fool, you cannot understand these things. Not possible. To understand these things, you need the mercy of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu.
To understand this, you need the mercy of the Lord. Huh? You want to read this?
Yeah. All living
Prabhu, shall I read?
entities. Yeah, Prabhu, you can read.
Okay, Prabhu. Please continue. Please continue.
All living entities, moving and non-moving, are my expansions and are separate from me. I am the supersoul of all living beings who exist because I manifest them. I am the form of the transcendental vibrations like Omkara and Hare Krishna Hare Rama. I am the supreme absolute truth. These two forms of mine, namely the transcendental sound and the eternally blissful spiritual form, the deity, are my eternal forms. They are not material.
So if a person take up the process, surrender to the Lord this way by chanting and worshipping the deity, then yes, he can come back to his original form. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
Yes,
Correct?
Prabhu, absolutely.
Not that everything works by chance, you know.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes, Prabhu. Everything is the Lord's plan.
Yes. Why at this particular period of time you have to become a devotee? Why you waited
Yes.
so long? Who decide, boy, when you can come and who can come and why? Is
Yes.
it not?
Yes, Prabhu. I just happened to be at that place at that time. It's all just Krishna's plan.
Hmm?
It's all a part of the Lord's plan.
Yes. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu. Absolutely.
It requires huh? Yes or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore we have to understand this whole thing, you know, how everything is done by the Lord. Then yes, the moment we surrender, then Krishna opens everything up for us. And try to be too smart, then yes, it's going to be bad news.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes? Any other opinion, comments on these points raised? Try Krishna says, you surrender to my devotees. Devotional service can only happen by the mercy of the devotee. Cannot happen otherwise. We just have to learn how to surrender to a pure devotee and make our life successful. It's not something you can do it yourself, you know.
Yes, Prabhu.
Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one question, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu. Actually, the sixth canto, it's written that we have the Mahajanas, 12 Mahajanas names, Prabhu. So, but we have 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas where Brahma and Kumaras and Shiva also in the Mahajanas. But Lakshmi is not there. So, how can we understand? Is there any verse which we can show that?
Lakshmi, she is, you know, the internal potency of the Lord, no?
Yep.
It says in that verse, you know, that all of them, but Lakshmi is, let me take out this verse for you. So here in this verse, so you want to read this?
Yeah, Prabhu. Mother Lakshmi, who is here, is the reservoir of all spiritual qualities, whereas you manifest and enjoy all these qualities. Indeed, you are actually the enjoyer of everything. You live as the super soul of all living entities, and the goddess of fortune is the form of their bodies, senses, and minds. She also has a holy name and form, whereas you are the support of all such names and forms and the cause for their manifestation.
So you want to read here?
Yeah, Prabhu. In the
Brother? You can read this line. O best of Brahmana.
O best of the Brahmanas, Lakshmi ji is the constant companion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, and therefore she is called Anapayini. She is the mother of all creation. As Lord Vishnu is all pervading, his spiritual potency, Mother Lakshmi, is also all pervading. Lord Vishnu has three principal potencies: internal, external, and marginal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted Parasakti, the spiritual energy of the Lord, as being identical with the Lord. Thus, she is also included in the independent Vishnu Tattva. Okay.
So if a person is in that category, you want her name to be in the list of...
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Vishnu Tattva. So,
You understand?
yes, Prabhu. Yep. Clear, Prabhu.
She is not Jiva Tattva. She is Vishnu Tattva.
Yeah, Prabhu. Then it's clear. Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah, Prabhu.
So you can remember this verse. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in accordance with the statement of the Vishnu Puranam, has described Lakshmi as being identical with Vishnu Tattva. The correct conclusion is that the description Lakshmi has been different from Vishnu as stated been when an eternally liberated living entity is in with the quality of Lakshmi. They do not pertain to Mother Lakshmi, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. So she is actually non-different Vishnu Tattva.
Yeah, Prabhu.
All right. So that answers your question.
Prabhu, but she should
So you
not
can
be
remember
worshipped
this verse.
like apart from like independent from Narayana, is it?
Yeah, she is always the internal potency. You must worship her with the potent personality. You have to worship her like Sita, Ram,
Yes, Prabhu.
Lakshmi, Narayan, Radha, Krishna.
Yes.
You understand that?
Prabhu.
So when the Lord is worshipped alone in the Vasudev platform, then he doesn't have the internal potency. You follow?
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore the Sampradaya who is saying this verse? ISKM Pondicherry to everyone.
Prabhu, that is Pralad Prabhu.
Oh,
Oh,
where you put this? Oh my God.
Very nice words, Prabhu.
How you remember everything? Such a person.
because you are asking and Krishna is making remember this, no? Because of your potencies.
The perfect answer is there. She Vishnu Tattva. So,
Just for the Vishnu Tattva, that cleared all the confusion.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhupada said the answer is all in my books.
Prabhu, I have heard such questions.
We have simply have to read it.
Prabhu, I've heard such questions from various other people. I've heard quite a few lectures, but no one has pointed to the scripture and said, yes, here Prabhupada has said this. As you, Prabhu. I'm not making this up. This is actually fact. People say out of their own whims, this is like this is like this, but they don't point to the verse where Prabhupada has said like this, or where Shastra says like this. This is here. I don't know what to say, Prabhu. I've never seen like this anywhere.
I think it is a mercy of Prabhupada in all of you.
Yeah. It is by your mercy.
This is my second class, I'm up since 2:30 in the morning and I'm going on for hours talking and chanting. So if it's coming out, it's only because of your mercy. Because you wanted to, some or other get the answer, so Krishna made it come out. All glories to you. Any more questions? One question there. That's why Prabhupada said, if anybody say everything is good, no, we cannot say that. We can only say one thing. ISKM is good. Everything is bad. So Ayappa said he's very fortunate to have your association, so you should all help him. Ayappa is born in the Holy Land, most pious soul. Yes, Swami Ayappa. He's already sannyasi, Swami Ayappa, right? Ayappa Swami. You are Ayappa Swami, you are already taken sannyas. So, any other questions? There's so many things in Prabhupada books, I think Prabhupada sent by Krishna to write these books, and unfortunately we are not distributing them. Right or not?
Yes.
What do you say? Say this, the problem. Our problem is this. Can you read this? Unfortunately, anyone read? Can you read this part here? This one, all this
Yes, Prabhu.
on the top.
Unfortunately, at the present moment,
And
the
this way,
conditions
and this way, and this way, this way. All right.
in this
Hey,
way,
read the whole purport. Read the whole purport. Otherwise, it
yes,
doesn't
Prabhu.
make sense. Okay.
Yes,
This is a description of Maya's action on the condition. Can you read that?
yes, Prabhu. This is a description of Maya's action upon the conditioned soul. Thinking himself a product of the material energy, the conditioned soul engages in the service of the material energy in so many ways. He becomes servant of languor, greed, and envy. In this way, one totally becomes a servant of the illusory energy. Later, the bewildered soul becomes a servant of mental speculation. In any case, he is simply covered by the illusory energy. Out of his causeless mercy and compassion, Krishna has compiled various literatures in his incarnation as Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is a Shaktivish avatar of Lord Krishna. He has very kindly presented these literatures to awaken the conditioned soul to his senses. Unfortunately, at the present moment, the conditioned souls are guided by demons who do not care to read the Vedic literatures. Although there is an immense treasure house of knowledge, people engaged in reading useless literature that will give them no information on how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The purpose of the Vedic literatures is explained in the following verse.
So you see, unfortunately, at the present moment,
Yes.
the conditioned souls are guided by demons who do not care to read the Vedic literature. I think this is also there for ISKCON because they don't push Prabhupada books anymore.
Yes, Prabhu. They will instead preach about Gopal Das books.
It is good for us. It is good for the toilet as toilet paper.
Prabhu, you are the first one who has spoken so boldly, Prabhu. Toilet paper.
You can write it to him that your books are as good for the toilet paper. A conditioned soul cannot write transcendental literature. That's not possible.
Yes.
Understand? It says here in this verse. Anyone want to read that?
Prabhu, may I read this?
Please.
Anything expressed by material vibrations, anything ascertained by material intelligence, and anything experienced by the material senses or concocted within the material mind is but an effect of the modes of material nature and therefore has nothing to do with the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, for He is the source of the material qualities and creation. As the cause of all causes, He exists before the creation and after the creation. I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mundane person cannot write transcendental subject matters. That's not possible.
Prabhu, so, people might argue this. So, what about the 11th and 12th canto translations?
I'm not reading it, right? I'm saying the translation is okay. Prabhupada said the translation is all right.
It's all right. Yes.
Understand? Well, but Prabhupada, by him, this so-called guru, we don't read that. But if we translate in the Prabhupada about an acharya saying something, that we read. You understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
The knowledge from the book is so important.
Yes.
You understand that? Anyway,
Yes,
they don't even quote the Bhagavad Gita, these guys who talking about 11 canto. Their brains
Yes,
is useless brains. They can't even quote one verse. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah,
they talk
absolutely.
stories about some panwala stories they're talking about. Yeah? Some
Like
jungle,
they use mainly stories to explain stuff.
some monkey, some elephant, some. These are the story, Prabhu. Nobody is talking from the books. That's out of the question. I have
Yes.
not heard anyone talking. Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
because they are all not realized souls. They are conditioned souls. Huh? A conditioned soul
Yes,
cannot
Prabhu.
help another conditioned soul. That's why Krishna says you must go and approach a what? A conditioned soul? What he says?
Jnaninas tattvadarshinaha.
Who go and approach a conditioned soul.
Prabhu. One who
Hmm?
has seen the truth.
Yes.
Tattvadarshinaha, pure devotee.
And what is the truth? The truth is that is non-different from Krishna.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
One must take shelter of a pure devotee who is what? Who is realized that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, all of you are. So, point is this: you understand the truth. Cannot go to somebody who is trying to kind of, undermine Krishna's authority. Then he is disqualified.
Yes.
You cannot hear from him. He is already an Vaishnav. Someone who does not accept the scripture is considered a Vaishnav by Krishna himself. Krishna says here, you want to read this?
Yes, Prabhu.
Shruti Smriti Ma Maivagye.
Yeah.
Can you read that?
यस्ते उल्लङ्घ्य वर्तते आज्ञाच्छेदी मम द्वेषी भक्तोऽपि न वैष्णवः. The Shruti and Smriti literatures are to be understood as my injunctions, and one who violates such codes is to be understood as violating my will and thus opposing me. Although such a person may claim to be my devotee, he is not actually a Vaishnava. The Lord here states that if one
Okay,
does not
that's
develop,
it. That's
yeah,
it. You see, so that's it. If someone can have his tilak from the tip of his eyebrow to all the way to the forehead and speak all nonsense, then Krishna says he's not a Vaishnava.
Vaishnava. Yes,
Yes?
yes, Prabhu.
And he is not a Vaishnava means what? You have to reject him.
A Vaishnava Mukhodkiranam.
Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, you cannot hear from these non-devotees. Although some rubbish. Yes?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
So all this point that I'm saying, you please write and send it to him. Can you do that?
Yes, Prabhu, surely. So if we get a chance, we will do. Even if he reads it or not, we will send it.
Send it to him. You are not a Vaishnava. You are speaking Mayavad.
Yes.
Mayavade Krishnare aparadhi. You should not even see his face. You should go to the Ganga and bathe with your clothes on if you see such a person.
Oh,
Any other questions? Any other questions?
some questions I'll post in the chat box.
Prabhu in the chat box.
Box. Huh? Must be this Ayappa Swami. Ayappa Swami again. He's got all kind of questions. Prabhu, recently, some years ago, a young Christian went to Andaman and he tried to preach about Jesus to them and he was killed by those nomads. Any views on this? Why don't you try? Why don't you go to Andaman and try to preach to those people about Krishna? If you get killed, then we will do a samadhi for you here. What's a crazy thing to do, boy? Those guys are uncivilized. There's so many civilized people to preach to. You can't even handle that. Huh? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna says, Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
So you want to go all the way to Andaman Island, huh? You finish all this.
I'm saying, Prabhu, as an example, because if we are preaching and if we have people who are opposing us, is it good to ignore them and move on? Or?
Prabhupada said you must preach in a place favorable to you.
Yes, right.
That's why he left India and he went to America.
Yes, Prabhu. Right.
Indians were not favorable.
Right.
You understand? You want to go to the island
No,
again?
no. I was just saying as an example only, bro. That's it, bro.
Hare Krishna, the next question. Does those nomads are closer to animals that they aren't even civilized? Hare Krishna. All these questions, let's go with the answers. So, in this universe, there are limitless living entity in 8.4 million species and all are wandering within the universe. All right. So can you read this?
The unlimited living entities can be divided into two divisions. Those that can move and those cannot move. Among living entities that can move, those are birds, aquatics, and animals. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving clear instructions. Although the living entities are known as human beings, they are very small in quantity. The division may be still further subdivided. For that, are many cultured human beings like Mlechas, Pulindas, Bauddhas, and Sabras. Among human beings, the who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against such principles. Such people do not care for the relative principles.
So you see, among the civilized and uncivilized. Yeah?
It's true.
So all these uncivilized people are considered as what? Uncultured human being like Malachar.
Vedas, Hindas, Bauddhas, and Sabaras.
Yeah. Sabaras are people who keep pigs, and eat pigs. Bauddhas are those people who are Buddhists. Prabhupada said the Pulindas are the Greeks, and of course the Malachar are the guys who don't, follow anything, eating meat.
So Christians in India,
follow.
so Christians and Muslims in India are also Malachars, Prabhu, even though they are born in India.
They're classified as Malachars and Yavanas. You understand? They're not part of the Vedic
Yes,
system.
Prabhu, understand, Prabhu. So they are Malachars and they follow Malachar.
And among all these human beings who follow the Vedic principles are considered civilized. And among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. That's all Indians,
Yes, Prabhu.
so-called Hindus.
That's true.
Talking big words and doing all rubbish. And among them, to find a devotee, dharmachari, among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. Among the wise, out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated mukta. And out of millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. A pure devotee of Krishna is very difficult to find. Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma koti swapi mahamune. This verse is from the Bhagavatam. Out of all great sage, out of many millions of materially liberated people who are free from ignorance, and out of many millions of siddhas who have nearly attained liberation, perfection, there is hardly one pure devotee of Narayana. Only such a devotee is actually completely satisfied and peaceful. This is from 6.14.5 Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And also there's another verse, Kirata, Hundara, Pulinda, Pulaksa. You know the verse? Anybody? Kirata. All these uncivilized people. Anyone knows this verse?
No, bro, learning for first time.
Huh? What?
Hearing about this in first time.
You're hearing about it the first time?
This is first time. That's we heard.
Kirata, Pulenda, Pulakasa. You don't know this verse?
2:4:18.
2:4:18. So again, yes, all these Sabaras and all these guys. Kirata, Kunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasa, Avira, Sumba, Yavana, Kasa, Daha, Ye, Ancha, Ye, Apasraya, Asraya, Sudhyanti Tasme, Prabhavishneve Namaha. The Kiratas, the Punas, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulakas, Abhira, Sumba, Yavana, members of the Kasa race, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotee of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisance to him. So all these people are uncivilized, but that doesn't mean that they don't get a chance. If they associate with the devotees, they become purified.
Thank you. और दो लिया और वहाँ पे रख दिया. Thank you.
Maybe he can mute himself.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Dinesh.
I forgot who.
Another verse also describing all these guys, explained by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is also speaking this one more verse here. I think it is 40. Accident soul living sinful life. Yeah. Yeah, again, Lord Brahma is giving another definition on this one. Surrendered soul is from groups leading sinful lives such as women, the laborer class, the mountainers and the sabras, or even the birds and beasts can also know of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by the surrendering unto the pure devotee of the Lord and following in their footsteps in devotional service. So this again, all these people who are, low born. There's also another verse. I think it's here. Let me see. In every yuga, many living entities entangled in the mode of passion and ignorance gain the association of my devotees. Thus, they such living entities as Daitya, Rakshasas, birds, beasts, Gandharva, Apsaras, Nagas, Siddha, Charanas, Vuyakas, and Vidyadharas, as well as such low-class human beings as the Vaishyas, Sudras, women, and others were all able to achieve my supreme abode. Vritrasura, Prahlad Maharaj and others like them also achieve my abode by association with my devotees. As this personality as Varshaparva, Bali Maharaj, Banasura, Maya, Vibhishan, Sugriva, Hanuman, Jambavan, Gajendra, Jatayu, Tula, Dhara, Dharma Vyada, Kubja, the gopis in Vrindavan, and the wives of the Brahmanas were performing sacrifice. So you see how everybody low-born, so many low-borns, they all can get perfection. The persons I have mentioned did not undergo serious study of the Vedic literature, nor did great saintly person, nor did they execute severe vows of austerity. Simply by associating with me and my devotees, they achieved me. Right? So, any more questions? Otherwise, we are done for today.
As these kind of classification like the Mlechas and Yavanas, I mean, is it still gold for these days? Seems like everybody is Yavana and Chandala nowadays. except the devotees.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why it says in Kali Yuga, everything is bad. The only thing that is good is to chant Krishna's name. Yes? Nothing else can be done. Everything is messed up. Just like now your COVID has ruined your whole India, correct? Only thing you can do, what you can do?
Sit at home.
Die. Die. That's the only thing you can do, die. Correct? So better to die by chanting Krishna's name. Yes. And that is the beauty of India. They know how to die gloriously. Unfortunately, it is not taught. Right? You see here, I think this verse we quoted many times. The glory of India, you know. This is the glory of India. Anyone want to read this?
Terrified about to die, a man conscious on his, although his voice is faltering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying. If he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive work and achieve supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord.
This is the secret that is written there from your country, from your books, that the whole world don't know. If we just chant Hare Krishna and dies, he won't have to come back again to this material world. Especially dying in India, very auspicious country, Punya Bhumi.
Yes.
Whether the vaccine work or the virus gets you or whatever, but you can overcome the power of death simply by chanting, calling for the Lord, Hare Krishna. Yes? So whether you're going to die or going to live or whatever, you don't care, In fact, the devotees are thinking, better I die, What is the use of living? Correct? A great king, Kulasekara is praying, right? Let me die now. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Pada Pancharantam. You know where the sloka? Mukunda Mala Stotra, right? Right? I want to die now. My mind is swimming at the stem of your lotus feet. Let me die now, because when I'm stuck with mucus, cough and bile and all, my system go crazy. I think I won't be able to remember you. So let me die now when I'm strong in my mind. See, this is how Indians, this is their country. They know how to die. Unfortunately, they have thrown away the secret and they all are crying.
Mukundamala 33.
Anywhere in the book, Prabhupada must have written. You can take it out
33,
easily.
Mukundamala. 33.
Yeah, 30.
33, Prabhu.
30, yeah. So what I write? MM33, is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this was King Kulasekara is the Pandya king, from your Tamil Nadu. Hey,
Prabhu, he is a
Tamilians.
Chera king, Prabhu.
Anyway, whatever, he's a king from Karnataka.
Tamil Nadu, Kerala.
And all of you guys are not want to chant this Krishna name. You got secret, yeah. King Kulasekara wanted to give up his body while in a healthy state, and he thus prayed to Krishna to let him die immediately while he was in good health and while his mind is sound. I think the COVID gets you, you're still sound and healthy a bit, right? When a man dies, he is generally overpowered by mucus and bile, and thus he chokes. Since it is very difficult to vibrate any sound while choking, it is simply by Krishna's grace that one can chant Hare Krishna at the time of death. However, by situating oneself in the Mukta Asana position, a yogi can immediately give up his body and go to whatever planet he desires. The perfect yogi can give up his body whenever he desires through the practice of yoga. So this is the secret. So why not just teach people who are going through this COVID problem? Please chant. Yes. If we make it, good. If it doesn't, also good. No loss. I think we better he chants and he goes back to the spiritual world. Yes. Whole world is in fear now. The whole world is in fear of death. But the devotees are called Akuta Bhayam. Akuta Bhaya means they are fearless. Right? Because they have taken shelter of the Supreme Lord. Huh? Yes? This is spoken by Devaki. Devaki, the Krishna is speaking. Can someone read this?
No one in this material world has become free from the four principles of birth, death, old age, and disease, and by fleeing to various planets. But now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities, having obtained shelter at your lotus feet by your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace.
I think a lot of guys are running with the private plane somewhere in here and there. $20,000 for one person.
What?
It says here they're going by private plane to Dubai or here or there. They are running out.
Epic.
It says here you cannot escape by fleeing to various planets. Don't say countries.
Privately, they are carrying the virus to that place.
Yes, they are going to buy and then eventually they'll become bye-bye. Yeah? You understand? You cannot escape. No way. You follow? Not possible to escape. Please read.
The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the super soul of all souls.
Nobody can escape this terrible fear of birth and death, can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any other shelter other than myself. Yes. Simply you have to teach them, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I was just reading this verse today. Even if they don't chant, even if they don't chant, if they can just remember, see that? Can
My
you read
Lord,
this?
it's impossible. It is not impossible for one to be immediately freed from all material contamination by seeing you. I speak of personally, merely by hearing the holy name of your Lordship, only once, even Chandalas, men of the lowest class, are freed from all material contamination. Under the circumstances, who will not be freed from material contamination simply by seeing you?
Right? Merely by hearing the holy name of your Lordship only once. Prabhu. Correct? Only once if they heard. That's it. Correct? It's a very important verse, no? If they don't chant, if they hear, also they get benefit. Huh? What do you say?
Yes, true. But why devotee must decide to die, Prabhu? We have a lot of work to do, no? Why a devotee must decide to die? We should have a lot of work to do for preaching. Like follow Prabhupada, Prahlad Maharaj instruction. Prayena deva munayega sarve.
But if the virus comes to and you have to die, you cannot say
We
anything,
cannot say
no?
anything, but we should not decide to die, no? When it comes, it's okay. Why we should decide?
If it comes is okay, but it's already coming. What's the problem there? Correct?
Krishna's will.
So our point is to become like, what's his name? Huh? This Gadot Gach, he's fighting. No, he's going to die. Okay, let the death come and he expanded into a huge and kill all the Kauravas.
Yes.
You understand?
Exactly. Good example.
So devotees, they are not frightened. That, yeah, you understand? Just like Durva Maharaj, he stepped on death's head and he went to the spiritual world. Because devotees, either they live, they will preach, they die, they will preach. No loss for them. It's only these guys, these guys are the one who crying like anything. These guys, you see. You should not be like these guys. You should not be in this position.
Materialists are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore, they're always absorbed in the thoughts of their wives, children, wealth, and afraid of giving up their bodies. What are the which is full of stool and urine? If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of having labored to study the Shastras? It was simply a waste of time. Yes.
Yes. Right, looks like it's finished. Yeah? No more
You are the
questions.
Gatotgaja for movement, Prabhu. So you're expanding your time like anything. I don't know how much your time you are. So you are utilizing all your time to bring all the deeds to Krishna consciousness. How much you are trying? Good example, actually. Gatotgaja example.
Yes. Expanded to huge form and killed everybody. Dying also, he doing something good.
Prabhupada also, the 10 years, how much he has done? The 10 years time, he has done so many things.
Yeah, he's powerful, pure devotee, I am 45 years and done nothing. Completely wasting time for me. Eating, yeah, I did nicely. In sleeping, I did that also well. If I had scored distinction on these things, I scored distinction. Eating, sleeping,
Where are you eating? Where are you sleeping? You're not sleeping. Eating less and sleeping only 2-3 hours a day. Maybe I have to say that, not you. It's for me, my life. I'm meeting in.
I got double distinction on this topic. So nice talking to all of you. I'm so happy giving me a chance to associate with you. I hope I managed to answer all your questions. I hope I have not offended Swami Ayappa.
Prabhu, no, Prabhu. Prabhu, I am Karma Ayappa, Prabhu, not Swami.
You're not Swami yet?
Karma Ayappa, Prabhu.
Oh, I thought you became Swami Ayappa.
Who?
They say in the language, Ayappa Swami, correct? So you put that name in your name, Ayappa
Actually,
Swami.
my full name is Ayappa Das, Prabhu.
Oh, your name is Ayappa Das. You initiated yourself.
No, Prabhu. Actually, my grandfather named it. So,
Well, I never hear
when I'm speaking to devotees, I will never use the name Das, because if I use the name Das, I will think that I am initiated in another Mayavadi Sampradaya.
I never heard Krishna Chaitanya. He wrote, he didn't want to speak.
Prabhu, about the book distribution, Prabhu, like these nowadays, I mean, like whatever we are, is this the another way of book distribution? We can say like that, because nowadays nobody want to read, but they all like to see. So our video making and all those things, does it come under the book distribution category, Prabhu?
Yes, it's Kirtan. Actually, you should make the app, the Bhagavad Gita, they are doing, correct? I was thinking that you are doing your Tamil session. Maybe we can do one session where probably you can invite me, and you can speak in Tamil, I speak in English. What do you think?
Yes, I'll look for people, Prabhu. Look for people, yes.
We have enough people, Prabhu.
Why don't we try a Tamil session? I'm already doing the Bengali, I'm doing the Hindi, I'm going to do Telugu.
Yes, Prabhu, sure, Prabhu.
So I think why not try it? And since you already have a Tamil thing, is it Zoom or what? This is a Zoom session?
This is Zoom.
So why don't you invite, then we can do one English and you translate, and let's see.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't know what day you're doing. What day are you doing? What day you are doing your Tamil?
Myself, Prabhu. I'm doing on Sunday, one day, I mean 1 week, one sloka we are covering.
Oh, you're doing Bhagavad Gita sloka like that. I mean, one day you can just invite for question and answers.
There are also not, I mean, even that class also only some 6-7 people join. Sometime.
Never mind 6-7, we try. We can just post the circular and see who can come on Tamil. I think everyone can share and see, they can invite more people to come on board.
Yes, ISKCON devotees, actually when I spoke to the ISKCON BBT people, I told them, why don't you make an online version of Tamil books? It will be good for preaching. And they say it will reduce our book distribution. People start violating and start making their own, printing their own books. So this we don't want. So that's why we are not doing it in Tamil online version.
Our book is meant for mass distribution, is it not?
I see it is a lack of vision, Prabhu, because nowadays they don't have a habit of reading. Many people, you have to video.
No, but if you put app, they will read,
Yes.
Like now, we are propagating, see these classes of inspiring people go and read books, is it
They
not?
have an app, Prabhu. They have an app. So
You have what? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam?
they have, Prabhu, but it is not user friendly to see, just like English. You just type the slogan, it comes out, no? So it is not like.
No, why don't you get this? I mean, the PDF format. You give it to what's his name, Dinesh. She's going to do the what do you call that? Fine tune it for you to use them easily. For now, you can use the PDF version. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we'll use that for now. Eventually, we'll fine tune it, no, so we can have a program easy to do. Do you have CC as well?
CC, I don't have, Prabhu. I did not buy it. It's available, but I did not buy it.
So why don't you get it so we can use it all for preaching?
Prabhu, just only 2 years or 1.5 years ago only they translated the Chaitanya Charitamrita into Tamil book. Recently only. So the stocks is also not distributed. Only in main ISKCON temples they have. So now they are slowly.
I don't think so. They are using any of these books to help in the preaching. No? I think we should try. Can you try that, Prahlad? You can get the books all, soft copies, and then we'll have a question and answers in Tamil, huh?
Yes.
What do you try? What time is your Tamil?
6:30, but I'm planning to postpone it to 7:30 in Sunday because we have another session with the boys 5 o'clock every Sunday. So that is going well. So I'm planning to postpone it to 7:30 every Sunday. 7:30 to 8.
7:30 Sunday means my time. What
We
time?
can have a separate session, Prabhu. I mean, with a different audience. We can plan on it.
Okay. You plan on it, huh? So we'll try one Tamil and see how it goes, huh? I'm having success with the Hindi and Bengali, so I don't see why we can't influence others, huh?
Hindi means it's whole India, Prabhu. Hindi is whole India. Hindi is
India, yeah. I get at least, I've got 2 sessions, one Thursday and one on Saturday. Today at 8 o'clock I'll be on again. One more class, Actually, supposed to have another one for the Philippines from 4 to 6 again. So one day I'm having 4 classes.
on Sunday, no, Prabhu?
Today, Saturday.
We'll plan weekend, Prabhu. It will be easier for you. Weekend.
Weekend will be really tough,
Yes,
Anyway,
easier for you.
you try, huh? So I think one Tamil will be good. Let's try and see.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, then thank you so much for the time and your effort. Can you try to record this one and send to
Already Facebook
everyone?
Live is going also, Prabhu, parallelly. It's also Facebook Live is going.
No, but record it and send, you people who can't see
Okay,
also.
Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu.
This one is good. Facebook Live.
Prabhu, it is getting recorded.
Try to share it with people, huh?
Yeah, Prabhu. I will share it, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu.
All right. All glories to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Ji. Dhanyavad pranam. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare Krishna. All glories, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dhanyavad pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandar Pranam. All Krishna Prabhupada.